You wish to heal Middle-earth. Heal yourself.
Who the hell does she think she is? Schwarzenegger? Howdy, all. I'm Adam, the Renaissance Nerd, and welcome to the season finale review of Rings of Power Season 2. We did it. We made it. We got a little banged up along the way. I might have lost my mind a couple of times, but we are here. We are now. And this is a complete disaster. Anybody who defends this show as quality, you can like it, but if you defend it as quality, you have a problem. You really do. Because the editing alone of trying to splice together all these different freaking schizophrenic plot arcs is terrible. The acting is absurd. The choreography is out of your mind bad. The dialogue is just so ridiculous. The writing is just so bland and so goddamn cheesy. And the complete and total disrespect for Tolkien. I mean, the lore breaks, we've been cataloging them the best we can as a casual, barely casual Lord of the Rings fan. I've been cataloging them the best I can. On Mordor Country, we've been digging deeper into how bad they get. But they, even though these ones in this final episode are not as bad as what we've already encountered, there's one doozy, two doozies, frankly, if you ask me. But they are just completely disrespectful. It's the only word I can go to. Disrespectful to Tolkien, disrespectful to his lore, his fans. We got 4 sections here today to wind this up in this episode that really listen, I got a lot right in predictions and I got a few things wrong, but the things I got wrong, it's not really I'm not really wrong. I wanted them to be so cringe. It's like I wanted it to be cringe and be right about being cringe. We didn't get some of them. We'll catalog them as we get through it. We got 4 things. We've got the bare minimum of the dwarfs, which suffers a massive lore break, and then just some real stupidity in the end of, wow, we just set this in motion. Let's forget we just set this in motion. And then we've got what I like to call the stooges, the stupids. We have Gandalf, almost Gandalf. If you caught what I just said there, Gandalf, almost Gandalf is it's ridiculously dumb. It's so stupid. And let's see, we've got Make Numenor Great Again with a little bit of plot armor Isildur in there because you got to combine them both because they fit together, sort of. And then, of course, the sacking of Eregion. And the final showdown between Galadriel and Sauron. Some of the worst choreography and dialogue yet in this god-awful show. But I don't need to keep you waiting any longer. Let's dive right in and put us out of our misery.
Forgive me, my son. King Durin.
The dwarves. This is not going to take very long. We start off with a stupid blurred thing that we know is going to crystallize into Durin the Fourth marching to confront his father after he's laid waste to everybody who was guarding the next shaft of Mithril. Unfortunately, Disa is alive. And unfortunately, we didn't get any Disa sing-offs going on here. It doesn't happen. Instead, we have Durin marches down the mine shaft to find his father by himself, just chugging along, trying to break through the wall. After some really lame, fake, emotional discussion, because if you are at all attached to these characters, congratulations. I guess I'm glad for you. But for those of us who actually want deep, in-depth, emotional relationships, this conversation between Durin and Durin is, well, it falls flat. It falls flat. It's basically, stop, father! No. Stop, father! Take off the ring! I'm going to cut your hand off! No. Don't you understand? I can see the mountain and our riches. I'm going to cut it off! Are you ready to cut off my hand? Yes, father! No, father. You have always been the strongest dwarf in my life. When we arm wrestled when I was a wee lad, I knew you let me win all the time. Almost win. I would get almost there. And I'm losing my accent because I can only hold an accent for so long. I would almost let me win in arm wrestling. And then you beat me down, and that's when I knew you're the strongest. So no, I can't beat you because you're too strong. And then during the third goes, all right, so just shut up. I'm going to keep on going. He just lets him bust through. He busts through. We get a shot of all the mithril that they honestly should have been mining up until this point to reach this point. But in fact, during the third goes, look, my son. This is our riches. Look what I see when I wear the ring. And during the fourth is like, oh my God, look at all the mithril. And then you hear a brrr, and you see some light below, and then suddenly, boom! There's the Balrog, Durin's Bane. So they go this is you have to understand how retarded this is. Not only for the lore break of the idea that this is not supposed to happen for another 1,000 years. They have to be digging deeper and deeper into Khazad-dûm before they trigger the Balrog. But during the third, using the ring has just busted through to the perfect spot where all the mithril is and exactly where the Balrog is. Exactly where the Balrog is. So the Balrog throws up the whip because, this is where the member berries start. The member berries are strong with this episode. The copycat-itis that they like to do for Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, it begins right here. The whip comes up, and it pulls Durin the Third down. Father, no! And then here's the Balrog. He's up like, Arr! And there's this, they can't even get the Balrog right, where they use so much smoke from its wings that it's just obscuring everything in the frame. And you see the Balrog itself kind of clearly, but it's just there's something just wrong about it if you're watching it. It's as though they knew they had something possibly really badass to put on, but they're not quite smart enough and not quite skilled enough to pull it off. So during the fourth, I keep doing that. I keep doing that. During the fourth gets blasted back, and during the third, I guess withstands the initial blast because he's got the ring on, but he takes the ring off and then says to an emotion, with another emotional moment, no, my son, I never let you win. Every time you almost beat me just showed you were getting stronger. Doesn't say I love you, but implies I love you. You're now King Durin. That would have actually meant something if he'd had another name, like, I don't know, Gilgamar or some shit like that. I don't know, I'm making up a name here. Where suddenly he gets called King Durin because that's what you call the king. There's never more than, lore-wise, there's never more than one Durin at a time. So if he had said in that moment, if Durin the Fourth had been known as another name the entire series so far, that would actually have some impact when he says, now you're King Durin. But no, he's always been Durin. So it's stupid. And it's another massive lore break. On top of the fact now, Durin the Third turns and goes, I'm gonna charge the Balrog! And Durin the Fourth wants to run in there, but then there's Deeza to hold him back. No, hold me back! No, I gotta get in there! Deeza's enough to initially hold him back. Well, listen, I bet she is. She's fat and she's heavy. She's got strength in that girth. And then a couple of the dwarves showed up, but then here's the thing. So Durin the Third throws himself at the Balrog in this comically CGI'd moment where his legs just like, legs akimbo in the air. And then the Balrog swings its sword and they clash, and there's a cave-in and they're cut off. He took the ring off and left it there, showing in his right mind he was himself again. And Durin the Fourth took the ring. Now, later on, we don't come back to the dwarves until much later. And we'll get to their other little bit when we get to the elves. But the dwarves are now consolidating their power. What are we going to do? It's time for Durin to be king. No, it isn't. No, it isn't, because now we have to start some Game of Thrones shit going into next season where the other dwarf lords of the Blue Mountains are consolidating their power in a bid to take the throne, including your brother. He's got a brother? He's got a brother? Oh, was he named Durin too? I mean, is he the older brother, the younger brother? What they call? Wow. And at one point they show all the dwarven rings sitting there. So you have a problem here. Durin, Disa, and Durin's crew here know the rings are bad, yet they're going to let the other dwarven lords around the world take up a ring knowing the rings are bad? Uh-oh, plot problem. What do we do? Wow, it would have been so much easier if you had allowed Sauron to just get all the rings like he did in the lore and hand them out under the guise of Anatar and all that shit to basically deceive everybody. It would have been so much easier. But now you've dug yourself into a plot hole going into next season. Durin knows the rings are bad. He's not going to let them take the rings because then he'd know they'd be corrupted. God damn, these people are dumb. But this is only the beginnings. That's it for the dwarves. But I have to remark on this one last thing. So right here as they're talking about their pseudo Game of Thrones moment, not one mention of the fact that they're all sitting on top of an active Balrog. They introduce the Balrog, Durin's Bane, the thing that destroys Khazad-dûm, and they just forget about it. No mention of it in the closing moments of the season. Just, okay, let's get ready for Game of Thrones. Retards! This is a master class of people who don't know how to construct a story, who don't know how to set up proper story arcs and lines and leave things where they need to be suddenly, okay, here's a proper cliffhanger. What do we do? All they had to say was, okay, we have to now have a struggle for the throne, but we have a problem. There's a Balrog who's just been blocked by a small cave-in. But they didn't. They didn't. The Balrog is just trapped by a small cave-in, and it has decided to just sit there and wait until they come back? All right, sure. So the Balrog's going to just go back and sit there and allow them to build all the scaffolding, all the mining rigging, so that they can mine and make mithril stuff. Because, they kind of haven't made the chain mithril shirt that Bilbo gets. Yeah, they haven't made that yet. Yeah, because they're out of mithril. They're out of mithril. They have to mine some, and that was where the veins are, where the Balrog is sitting there going, "Yeah, I can't wait for them to come here." This is so stupid, but it only gets worse. Let's move on. Let's talk stupids.
Don't be a stranger now.
Thank you kindly, Grandelf.
Okay, the stupids. Gandalf, almost Gandalf. Barry Muncher, Sam. They really make Barry Muncher Poppy into Sam in this one. Boy, do they do it. More ripping off of Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings. All right, so now we have skipped to a point where Gandalf, almost Gandalf. Last we left him, he was supposed to be picking his way through the Deadwood Grove or whatever to find his staff, and as opposed to going after Nori and Poppy and the other dirty smelling goddamn hobbits. I'm sorry, Harfoots and Sunderfoots or Sorefoots or whatever the hell they're all called. And now he's in their village. So the secret village that's supposed to be secret gets easily found by Gandalf, almost Gandalf. And we find him creeping in there. Nori! Woo! Comes around a corner, and here comes the Dark Wizard. Howdy, old friend. We get this long, drawn-out conversation that just compromises the lore even more. Hi, friend. Hi, old friend, says Dark Wizard. We've known each other forever. We are 2 of 5. We are 2 of 5. And it was you who convinced me to come over here from Valinor. And Gandalf's going, you know me, you know my name, blah, blah, blah. And we get this whole drawn-out thing of, I'm not a dark wizard, I'm here to stop Sauron. Although, you and I together, we can be as great as Sauron. And we have another let's be as great as Sauron again shit. Eventually, Gandalf says, but all right, fine, I'll hear what you have to say, but I'm here to help my friends. 2 little hobbits, Harfoots. And don't worry, your friends are right here. So Dark Wizard gestures to have the masked dudes come out with Nori and Poppy. And Gandalf says, let them go and we can keep talking. Dark Wizard says, okay, sure, fine, cool, let them go. Dude leader in the mask says, no, not until you give us what you promised us. So what does Dark Wizard do? He just pushes him into a wall to kill him, and the other guys let the girls go and they run away. So, wow, those dudes' storyline are just gone, I guess. I don't know. And now we have this whole big thing where, you're not that great, Mr. Dark Wizard, says Gandalf, almost Gandalf, because you want to be evil like Sauron. How can you do this? I want to protect people. So Dark Wizard eventually gets tired of waiting for him to join his side and says, listen, if I kill the things you love, then you're going to join me. So I'm going to shatter this giant cliffside, and I'm going to rain down boulders on this stupid little village. And then he runs away. And a couple of the Harfoots or the Sunderfoots, the Surfoots, whatever the hell they're called, a couple of them get crushed, and Aunt Jemima's almost going to get crushed until Gandalf manages to telekinetically force grab everything. Whew, okay, Nori, I got it, everybody run away. So everybody runs away, and then he lets it all collapse. And at the end of it, he looks up and sees the constellation that he's been following the whole time. See? Look, you could have followed it the whole time here. God damn it. Anyway, when we come back later, everybody's picking up the pieces because now this group can't stay in their little hidden village anymore. It wasn't so hidden. They have to be like the Harfoots and go a looking. And I guess they're gonna find the Shire next. Anyway, you have Nori sitting there picking through ship, and right away, you have to be goddamn blind and retarded not to see the stupid freaking staff right there. There it is, plain as freaking day. They telegraphed the goddamn thing. She kicks it aside at one point to knock it on the ground. And then here comes Gandalf, almost Gandalf, to have a little talk with everybody. And he has a talk first. Well, here comes Poppy. She comes up and hugs him, says, don't be a stranger. Okay, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. This is at the end of the episode, by the way. While they're collecting themselves here, Poppy gives, essentially, the Sam speech from the end of Two Towers, where you see Sam monologuing to Frodo, don't give up hope, we can still find hope. She basically gives the same exact goddamn speech while we're seeing screenshots of every other retarded plot arc this episode. Could they be more blatant? They can't, because they are. It's blatantly obvious. Then Nori, as I said, then Poppy's gonna hug him and she's gonna smell bad. They all smell bad. And said, don't be a stranger anymore. You don't have to be a stranger, which means he's gonna get his name. And then retard McBumblefuck looks up and says, bye, Grand Elf. And then Aunt Jemima says, bye, Grand Elf. And then after they all walk away, he has a nice little talk with Nori about, well, I guess you're all going to have to go out there and look around. You have to find your way eventually. This is where we part ways, and Nori's going, yeah, they're not pretty good at this stuff. It's their first migration, so I'm going to help them out, and it's going to be great. I'm going to miss you, best friend. So they say goodbye in some retarded, drawn-out, schmaltzy bullshit, fake emotional crap. And then as he's walking away, Gandalf starts to trip, and then he picks up the goddamn staff. Ooh, I found my penis. Ooh. Then he's going to take a little hike back to Tom Bombadil. And then he's going to go to Tom Bombadil. Hey, it was all a test, wasn't it? That to find my true staff, to find my power, I had to go protect the people I love. And Tom Bombadil's like, yeah, now you found your name, because a wizard, a staff finds its wizard like a wizard finds his name, or some shit like that. And then he stands there and he says, they're gonna call me Gandalf, aren't they? He is Gandalf, like we said from the freaking beginning. Why do you think I've been using the funny moniker Gandalf, not Gandalf, and now today, Gandalf, almost Gandalf. He's Gandalf. You know what they're going to sit down and sing with each other while the Dark Wizard then looks all angry back at his temple. But you know what the biggest problem with this is? We're in the Second Age. Gandalf doesn't arrive in the Grey Havens until the beginning of the Third Age. And he knows exactly who he is, and he has this stuff. This is simply, we wanted Gandalf in our show. So Gandalf is here, everybody. And I guess next season he's going to mosey his way to help out the elves and the dwarves. Problem is, Gandalf wasn't there for the War of the Last Alliance. He wasn't there. But he's gonna be now. If you are okay with this, seriously, why? How can you defend such a massive lore break? I mean, imagine if they had just called him anything else but Gandalf, not one of the 5 wizards. We could have gone, okay, he's some sort of fanfic precursor wizard they created. Okay, fine. It's stupid, it's retarded, but you know what? They didn't go so far as to bastardize Gandalf. But they went there. They full on went there because all they can do is throw nostalgia at people. Because that's one of the things today. Oh my God, the stands. It's Gandalf. Yay, it's Gandalf. Look, he's got a staff. And I guess next season he'll get his hat. And then the following season he'll get his pipe. And then the final season he'll trade them all in for gray robes and a gray hat. So then he'll be Gandalf the Grey by the end of it. I mean, literally, I think I'm not the first one to make this joke. Someone else made this joke. It's where I got it from. Is literally every season Gandalf just picking up another piece of his iconic gear, his iconic look. Ridiculous, stupid, retarded, fake Lord of the Rings for fake fans. But it only gets worse. Time to make Numenor great again.
Reclaim your lordship, and with this sword, your destiny.
Okay, let's make Numenor great again, baby. We open up with the white tree, what's supposed to be the origin of the white tree of Gondor. It's shedding its leaves as Big Tit Sister McGee is ringing the bells to call everybody to order in the Grand Audience Hall or some shit like that. And the faithful have been summoned to the Grand Audience Hall. They're like, why are we here? She goes, I don't know. My tits are big, but I don't know. Wait for your king. So here comes Pharazôn. And make Numenor great again, Pharazôn and his stooge basically say, you're all done. Your queen of the sea is meaningless. Your Elendil, he's meaningless because guess what? She's not loved by the Valar. She's in league with Sauron! So Make Numenor Great Again, Pharazôn instantly puts out propaganda that the faithful are now in league with Sauron, which means you're all to be imprisoned and killed. Okay, so he starts having everybody get rounded up. Big Tit Sister McGee, she F's off in the middle of this to go warn her dad, who gave her a very unusual hug last time. Says, Daddy, you need to run away. They're coming for you. And he goes, why should I listen to you? She goes, because reasons. Reasons. The faithful are in league with Sauron according to Pharazôn. You need to run. So she, after some really bad exchange, she convinces him to run. He goes to find his fake ship partner. She turns away bunch of moob armors who arrive to get him. She goes, where's your father? Where is anybody? Is anybody here? She goes, no, my tits are big. Go away. They go, okay. She threatens to call Pharazôn, but they leave with their moob armor intact. And then Elendil immediately F's off to go find the Queen of the Sea, Muriel. He goes to find Muriel. And Muriel is there. I guess he has access to the secret room where she stalls all her awesome shit, because that's where she is, and he's trying to get her to go with him and get out of there. And sorry, shippers, looks like they tease you again. You're not going to get the ship. He says, you got to come with me. She says, no, I can't go. But wait, before you go, take Narsil. I find it hard to believe that Make Numenor Great Again, Pharazôn, who has access to this treasure room, didn't confiscate Narsil. I find that really hard to believe. The strongest weapon, physical sword in their arsenal, and he didn't confiscate that shit. But no, so Muriel gives Narsil to Elendil, and he goes through the same exact motions, point for point, that Aragorn goes through when Elrond gives him Anduril and he unsheathes it, and they literally did it frame for frame. They are freaking unoriginal hacks. Go claim your rightful lordship and your destiny. So Elendil's just gonna leave her. He's gonna take Narsil, and he's going to F off exactly as we saw in his vision, because, Palantirs just give you visions now. And he's going to escape into the other side of the island, where he's going to gather the faithful and probably F off to when the fall of Numenor is going to happen. Meanwhile, back on the shores of Middle-earth, in the colony of Numenor, which isn't really a colony, though it should be. They should have an actual presence there. Plot armor Isildur, he's all upset and sad. Because he's been cucked. And Theo, without his badass teenage mustache, is going to walk on in there and say, hey, how are you feeling? You shouldn't pack a knife in your bag. It's bad luck. And he says, well, I've been stabbed by this knife already. It's already got me. Because, that's the knife that ethnically ambiguous Astrid stabbed him with when they first met. She stabbed him with her penis, and now he can only hold her penis and think of her. Anyway, so they're going to have a little chit-chat where Theo's going to be like, I heard you talking about how you let your mom die. Does the pain ever go away? And can I ever grow more than a badass teenage mustache? And Plot Armor Isildur says, I don't know. They made this shit up. This is fanfic bullshit. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't answer these questions because Tolkien never did. So they hug it out, and then Theo's gonna go on his way, and then for a second, Isildur's packing his shit. There's a knock on the door. He thinks it's Theo again. Oh, what original writing! But no, he turns around, and it's ethnically ambiguous Astrid, and he's gonna be all cuckish, be like, "What are you doing here? I thought you were with your boyfriend." She's like, "Well, he's building us a house, and when he was building it, I felt no love for him, and I love you. I'm thirsty for you." And they're going to kiss. And it was in this moment that that lightning struck my brain. I had an epiphany. And I realized what Astrid is. Remember, this entire season was written by women. Written by no talent women. And she is literally a self-insert fanfic character that can F Isildur in place of a woman who wrote this that wants to F Isildur. I'm gonna let that sink in for you for a second. All right? Yeah. This is what fanfic writers do. Bad fanfic writers. Good fanfic writers make up original characters that aren't them and just put them into a show or series that they like and help add flavor to the story. But bad fanfic writers, the worst thing you can do is self-insert into a story and make your character part of the center stage issues. And by taking likely one of these hack female writers, placing themselves inside ethnically ambiguous Astrid and making her as a love interest for Isildur, they just want to flick their bean to Isildur and get off, oh my god, my character's going to get with Isildur. That's what they want to do. And that's what they wanted to do. Problem is, as Isildur's getting ready to leave, here comes Pharazôn Jr. Pharazôn Jr. and those really great Numenor ships that have so much room in the hold, even though they're this big, they arrived out of nowhere. Just yesterday he was in Numenor, but now he's here. He's now, and he's proclaiming this colony is no longer a colony, it is a fortress. I am your commander. Problem is, he sees Isildur, and for a second he's going to play nice. Your sister's going to be so glad you're alive. But then when Isildur tries to bargain to get ethnically ambiguous Astrid on the boat with him. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot a funny part. When Make Numenor Great Again Jr. arrives, they try to, the locals, ethnically ambiguous Astrid's boyfriend and Theo, try to make it known that we're a colony. You promised us shit. And don't you know who Theo is? He's Bronwyn's son, man. He's Bronwyn's son. Don't you know who she is? And the world goes, no, we don't. Because she left to be an activist and she was a fanfic character anyway. And he basically rebuffed everybody and in the end says, listen, all y'all, you're basically our indentured servitude slaves now. If you want provisions for the winter, you have to cut lumber. Not mine, sorry. You have to cut lumber. What? They're only trees. Remember, they made the bargain with the Ents before they left? We're going to treat the trees right now. No, now they have to cut down all the trees. Anyways, like I was saying, Plot Armor Isildur, he wants to bargain for ethically ambiguous Astrid to get on board with him to Numenor. And make Numenor Great Again Jr. looks at him and says, "Hey, listen, you have no power. Your dad's a fugitive. Your queen is in league with Sauron, and the faithful are traitors. So you need to shut up and just get on the boat, because I'm not going to kill you because I still want to touch your sister's big tits eventually. So I'm not going to kill you, but you better get on the boat now." Before I rough you up, or my goons rough you up. And, that's it. That's the end of Make Numenor Great Again and Plot Armor Isildur. I guess Isildur's on his way back to Numenor because he never left it in the first place in the lore. They got to get him back there somehow. And you have to leave ethnically ambiguous Astrid behind because she is a self-insert fanfic character who has no meaning or lore relevance to Lord of the Rings or Tolkien's works at all. There you go. I guess we're setting up for the fall of Numenor next season because it's going to start, because I think I glossed over this. They're getting timber there to build a fleet for Pharazôn, because obviously now he wants to invade Valinor, and then they're probably going to have him go after Sauron and try and clean all that shit up, lickety-split, because I guess we're already there at the fall of Numenor, because they've set that up so well. They've set it up so well. It's been such a painstakingly careful puzzle they've pieced together, every little part playing its role, all these great, well-known Tolkien lore characters, acting, behaving like they should. Oh, wait, they haven't. All right, whatever. Okay, are you ready for the sacking of Eregion? Or lack thereof?
You are the prisoner,
Sauron.
Lord of the Rings.
The sacking of Eregion, or not. The literal sacking of Eregion lasts, I think, 30 minutes. Jed was right. Jed the Hollywood Scholar was right. There was no multi-episode battle. What we got last week was it. It was half-assed. It was pathetic. And the sacking of Eregion, which maybe should have been legitimate, should have gone on for a while, should have been huge, lasts 30 minutes. Of course, the whole purpose of sacking Eregion originally is so that Sauron can get the rings. But guess what? The rings aren't even there anymore because Galadriel already took them out, and the dwarven rings are in Khazad-dûm. Anyway, we open with the orcs in a frenzy. They're killing everything. Yeah, we're going until Galadriel comes out of a door, kills a few, and leads some refugees away, only to get captured 2 seconds later. And instead of doing her Galadriel thing, which I sort of half expected her to do, I thought she was going to fly into super Galadriel warrior princess mode and just gank everything. Instead, she says, listen, take me to your father. I have the 9 rings. Right? Like the goddamn orcs and Adar know what the freaking 9 rings are. You don't even know what the 9 rings are, you dumb cow. Nobody knows what they are. Only the Elven Smiths, who are all dead, Celebrimbor, who's about to be dead, and Sauron know what the 9 rings are. Nobody else does. And that kind of ruins the whole point of the rings. When the rings are all handed out by Sauron, it's done through deception, that there's some sort of great gift, and you don't find out till later that he made them and that they're corrupting, that they corrupt you. But no, right now we know for a fact the dwarven rings will corrupt dwarves, and those who currently have them haven't given them out to the dwarves yet. So why are they going to give out the rings if they know they're corrupted? Galadriel knows there's another 9 rings. She's holding them. They're likely corrupted. So why is she going to let them go out into the wild? And even so, once we're all said and done here, and they're going to get handed out to the kingdoms of men, why are you going to let that happen? Why aren't you going to go warn them? Because plot hole. Oh, that's it. It's a giant plot hole. Anyway, Galadriel's going to get captured. We'll come back to her in a second because now we have to have the biggest breakup in this show. Our gay lovers have had enough. Sauron is apparently using Celebrimbor for target practice. He's just popping them full of arrows, trying to find out where the 9 rings are. We get a lot of over-emotional, angry gay dialogue. We're broken up. You're terrible. You're this, you're that. I hate you. You're the Dark Lord. How dare you? It frankly culminates in this. I'm going to cut through it all because I don't want to spend time doing this. That's what Mordor Country is for on Saturday. After Celebrimbor knows he's done, he insults Sauron saying, you can do everything possible you want to me, but when I die, the winds will carry my soul to a place you will never know. Because when elves die, they don't die. Their souls go back to basically a giant, spiritual jar, and they float around until they get recorporealized and get to flock around in Valinor again, all happy and safe from everything. I mean, that's what happens. So he's saying, I'm going to get to go back to Valinor. You never will. And that just pisses off Sauron to no point because Celebrimbor is hurling all kinds of insults, this and that. Sauron turns around, takes a spear, ganks him with it, lifts him up one-handed, and then he goes, I got you. And then Celebrimbor's in it with his last gasp. He goes, Sauron goes, I am the master of these rings. And then Celebrimbor has to go, no, you're their prisoner. No, you're the Lord of the Rings. And then he dies. And then Sauron cries. What are we doing? What are we watching? This makes no sense. Sauron cries because he got called Lord of the Rings, and they had to get Lord of the Rings in there, didn't they? They had to. Yes, this is not the first time we've heard Sauron called that. In Peter Jackson's trilogy, Gandalf says there is only one Lord of the Rings and he does not share power. But yeah, but that's Sir Ian McKellen and Sir Christopher Lee exchanging dialogue, well-written dialogue too, masters of their craft. This is a couple of dudes. One, I mean, Charles Edwards, he's a decent actor. I've seen him in other things. He's all right. And then Charlie Vickers, who wouldn't know emote if you slapped him in the face and sharted. I mean, these people can't really deliver these lines. Also, the lines are shit. So Sauron's going to cry because that's what Sauron does. All bad guys are not really evil. He's having his moment. Don't you understand, Adam? He's having his moment where he realizes that he has to be evil, and that tear is the last shred of goodness in him or something. I don't know, but that's how retarded this scene looks. Anyway, as Celebrimbor dies, here come the orcs. Oh, look, it's Orc who wants his family and doesn't want to go to war. Are you he? Are you Sauron? I have many names. What is yours, Uruk? Oh, look, they've completed the thinly veiled storyline, which they haven't really done a good job pushing properly, that Sauron will corrupt the orcs and bring them to his side. Wow, look at that. Anyway, so we now cut to Galadriel being escorted to Adar. Adar is half slumped over some stone. Looks like he's praying or something. She wants to talk. She wants to make a deal. Galadriel's ready to deal. I'm ready to work with you to stop Sauron because you know what? That's exactly what I would do in reality. No. Anyway. Galadriel says, let's work together. And Adar's going to go, wait a minute. We got one problem here. I've been wearing the ring. He's been wearing Nenya. Is it called Nenya? It's called Nenya. He's been wearing Nenya. And it's healed. He turns around and we get one last thirst trap for the fake fan stands. So they have one last chance to pretend they can ship these two together. And listen, fellow panelist Dr. Rachel Lindbergh said we had a fear that when he put the ring on, it was going to heal him. But look, we were right in that sense. It healed him. And we thought for a second it was going to heal him and he was going to be Celeborn, mutated all these centuries, millennia, and here he is. No, it turns out Adar is just Adar, a name he earned, but by wearing Nenya and being healed and being in Galadriel's presence and forging a peace pact with her, he hopes to reclaim the elf name he used to have. So he's gonna, after giving her back the ring, when she says, "How can you do this? You're promising that you'll never wage war on Middle Earth again once we defeated Sauron, and you're happy to work with me and you'll keep your orcs. How can you say this to me? I've killed." She actually has the nerve to say, in this version of Galadriel has the nerve to say, "I've killed more orcs than any elf living." Yeah, they're still going to push that she's some sort of great war leader in this bullshit. And he says, "I forgive you. Let's make peace. We're going to have peace. Where there's going to be peace between us. We're going to be great together." And for a second, the shippers are going, "Oh my God, where's my pencil? I need to draw them effing really right now." Sorry, because here come the orcs. And it looks like Sauron beat up orc who just wants to live in peace with his family. Problem is, when Adar leans down and says, "My son, what have they done to you?" He says, Sauron told me the truth. Gank! Oh no, Adar got ganked. So Adar gets ganked. They're gonna, and how's this for symmetry? Oh, it's poetic. It's so right because it happened in the first episode. Look, just like the orcs Julius Caesared Sauron when the season started, look, they're Julius Caesaring Adar now. They're ganking him hell, and here comes Sauron. He's gonna pick up Morgoth's fake crown and be like, "Hey, baby, I'm here now. Aren't you ready to be my girl?" So he's going to stand over the dead body of Adar. Adar's going to be like, hey, why am I dead? I thought for a second they'd go as far to have him plunge the crown into him, but they weren't that cringe and cheesy. I'll give him that much. Anyway, Sauron's going to look to the orcs and say, listen, go sack Eregion, kill everybody. Then he's going to turn to Galadriel, and so begins the duel. And because don't you just show up for Tolkien because you know Tolkien's going to do a shonen one-on-one duel where everybody's yelling at each other and throwing out one-liners? Because doesn't that just scream Tolkien? Because that's what you get here. They're going to have a back and forth. So the duel begins, and because Galadriel's just going to pick up a random sword, a random elven sword that just happens to be there in the middle of freaking nowhere. And at some point, Sauron picked up Adar's sword, which you didn't see him do. He's just magically holding it. And they're going to fight while she's claiming, well, I'm going to stop you. You're not going to get this. And we'll get back to them in a minute. Because first we have to stop in Eregion, where two characters who have more plot armor than who have as much plot armor as Galadriel, Elrond and Gil-galad, are captured. And, Sauron gave the orders, don't hurt the leaders. He gave those orders. So the orcs have captured Elrond and Gil-galad, and Elrond and Gil-galad are basically going to plead with them not to destroy all the knowledge. Don't burn books, you fascists! Don't burn books! But they're going to burn them anyway, and they're going to be upset. All right, that's all that matters there, just to show you that plot armor is in full effect, that Gil-galad and Elrond can't be touched. They can't be touched. They cannot be harmed because they have actual fates they have to either meet or complete. Back to the greatest one-on-one you're ever going to see. The stands are touching themselves. They're wetting themselves. They're vomiting with pleasure as they watch what they deem as sexual intercourse between these two. Granted, we did not get the kiss. We did not get Galadriel and Sauron making out. I know you're crushed as much as I am because, let's be honest, we wanted it. We wanted as much as the stands, but because we know it's an actual win for us that they would do something so cringe. But we didn't get that. But we got what the stands are now calling sex between these two, where they're trying to penetrate each other with their swords and weird shit like that. Sauron is dual-wielding Adar's key sword and Morgoth's crown as he fights her. And they go back and forth. I hate you more. I would have given you the world. I would have made you my queen, this and that. It's a lot of bullshit where at some point Sauron's going to transform into Halbrand version and she's going to pause. After she does a super kick, she does a super ninja kick because Galadriel, she's an equal to him. He's a freaking god, but she can fight him on. He's a god with no limiters on, unlike the wizards. But she's just Galadriel, warrior princess, who only is good with a sword, has no magic, but she has her ring on. So I guess that makes her a match for him. So they're going to fight it out. And at one point, when she seems to be getting the upper hand, he's going to go into illusion mode. He's going to look at Halbrand because she's still got the hots for Halbrand, so she can't fight Halbrand. And then he walks around a corner and transforms into her and talks trash in her as her. And then they're fighting some more. Then he'll transform into Celebrimbor. And then they're going to fall down. Then they're going to fight a whole bunch more with really shit choreography. The dialogue doesn't really matter. All you have to understand that what they're saying back and forth is, the free peoples of Middle-earth will stop you. I want to bring peace. I'll bring perfection. We're going to stop you. That's all it is. Different variations of that. And also how much I hate you. I mean, they finally end up against this stone wall. He's got her beat, and he stabs her with the crown right here. Oh, wow, he stabbed her exactly where the Witch King stabs Frodo. Whoa! And then he gives the line, I would have made you a queen. I would have made the entire world bow down to you as I gave you the world, showing that he loves her. He needs her. Oh, Sauron and Galadriel, they were meant to be. Because that didn't happen in Tolkien's lore. Then he pulls it out, and she collapses to the ground. And as he's about to make her, I guess, submit to him, there's a horn that blows, and the dwarves are here because shit finished up over Khazad-dûm, and they just fast traveled to arrive at Eregion. Literally, fast traveled, got there instantly with their crossbows, and they you don't see the dwarves doing anything but shooting crossbows. That's it. No choreography of dwarven soldiers beating the crap out of orcs. Just a lot of crossbow action. And Elrond, Gil-galad, and I forgot to mention Legolas the Black is there. Perfectly fine, by the way. He got ganked hard by Adar last episode. Perfectly fine. Not a scratch on him. He's just all healed up. So those three are going to break free and fight it out. And at one point, Elrond thinks Durin's there. But no, it's Seneschal Man. And Elrond's heart is broken because his boyfriend isn't there. He says, "Where's Durin?" "He's in mourning." Okay, fine. So I have to correct myself from last review. I said the dwarves never made it. Our good friend Horny Alf corrected me. Said the dwarves did make it. But they made it after all was said and done. Just like Elrond's army in lore made it when all was said and done. The sacking was already happening. It was trashed. So the dwarves do make it, but they make it only to allow Elrond to escape. They give Elrond just enough room to escape, and then Sauron's forces beat the shit out of them. So they retreat back to Khazad-dûm and shut the doors forever. That doesn't happen here. The dwarves do make it. They allow Elrond and Gil-galad and Legolas the Black to get the hell out of there with their refugees or survivors. And then the orcs retreat. The orcs are going to retreat. We'll get that in a second, though. Because before that, actually, wait, does that, wait, what's that? Wait, all right, I'll get to that right now. You know, I forget the out of order. The orcs are going to arrive, and Orc who thinks he wants peace with his nuclear family says, "Sauron, more orc lives are going to die." No, and Sauron just ganks him. Just ganks him. The other orcs are too afraid, and he gives the order to retreat. They have to retreat. So the sacking of Eregion literally lasted a minute. Now he's going to turn to Galadriel, and he's going to be like, "Galadriel, give me the ring." And we're supposed to believe that Galadriel's under his spell. She's like, "Okay." And then before she gives him the ring, I showed you, it was my opener for the review. God, Morfydd Clark cannot act. "You want to heal Middle-earth. Heal yourself." Woo! She takes a header off the edge, and we see her view as she goes away from him. But that's just, having her throw out a Schwarzenegger one-liner like that is just ridiculous and stupid. Anyway, like I said, the orcs are going to retreat now because the dwarves are there in force. It's all wrong. And we are now at the bottom of the cliff. Here comes Gil-galad, Legolas the Black, and Elrond. And Gil-galad, turns his ring around, and I guess that powers it up, and he tries to heal her. But the High King of the Elves, with a ring of power, with one of the elven rings, is not strong enough to heal the wound. And I want to stop here right now. As I said, she got stabbed exactly where Frodo does, and if you look real close like here, the wound looks like the Eye of Sauron. They just love to get the Eye of Sauron into every little moment they can here, can't they? Don't they? They just love to do that. So Gil-galad, the High King, cannot heal this wound. Legolas the Black is losing his shit because he's just a dude who has no abilities whatsoever. And Elrond, he's got Nenya, and he's looking at it and goes, "I can heal her." So Elrond puts on the ring, and remember, I guess this is now, we have to see that Elrond is the only one that can heal damage from a Morgul blade, because that is what we're seeing. We're seeing now in this show the genesis of Morgul blades. Only Elrond can heal them. Yay! Right. We end this now. Yes, we're at the end. Oh, cannot forget to mention that, of course, Sauron got the rings. He got the rings. He's got the 9. He's got a memento of his boyfriend that he'll cherish forever. Still wishing he could get pegged by Galadriel. But yeah, so now, of course, we head over to the elves in the future side of Rivendell, and Galadriel wakes up glowing. and Gil-galad's gonna be like, oh wow, you were great for a minute when you weren't talking to me. That's actually that's pretty good. Wow, you were actually not insufferable when you're quiet. That's true. She's not insufferable when she's quiet. And then here's Legolas the Black. Elrond, says Morfydd Clark. And then here comes Elrond. He gives her the ring back. We're all so happy to be here. But now Gil-galad, High King of the Elves, who shouldn't even be here, remember, shouldn't even be here, says, what do we do? The orcs are running around everywhere, unchecked. What do we do? And everybody literally looks to Galadriel, waiting for her approval. Do we take up the shield or raise the sword? And she basically says, we must fight on, everybody. And then Gil-galad's going to draw his sword. All the remaining elves, refugees, they're all going to be like, yeah, very elven-like. Going, yeah, holding their weapons, yeah. So we get a nice, great shot of all their diversity as well. And that's it. We're done. It's over. Oh, God, this was painful. Ugh. We are finished, at least until season 3 in probably 2 years. That's right. They're going to sit on this dog shit for 2 more years. The stands are all crying, what am I going to do? I have to wait 2 years for this. Oh, listen. You'll find some other thing to be a fake fan about, I'm sure. Anyway, so there we go. What else can I say that I haven't already said? In fact, I'm not going to have much concluding thoughts here because we've got This Is Mordor Country, 8:30 p.m. Eastern this Saturday. We're going to wrap up. It's the final episode of our season. We'll be back in a couple of years, I guess, when they come back. But then next week, next Wednesday, on this channel, I will be doing another one of my autopsy streams. What's it going to be? We're going to autopsy Rings of Power Season 2. We're going to break it all down. We're going to go over it. We're going to just have a good time burying this horrible, horrible show. Because, listen, it's going to get a season 3. Don't get me wrong. As bad as this is, as bad as the ratings already are when you understand how the ratings work and how they're likely going to be going forward, this show does get a season 3. They're contracted for it already. It's not like they're on the bubble waiting to know. No, they've got a contract. They are getting a season 3. Whether they'll pull an escape cord and or basically a parachute, escape hatch clause, and say, listen, we will wrap this up in season 3 because we will not spend more money on 2 more seasons. Whether or not they do that, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be an escape hatch clause used in season 3 to get out of doing any more because this shit is god-awful. Somebody at Amazon has to know that this is damaging not only them, but damaging the brand. It really is. Either way, we are here. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me on these reviews. Whether you're watching now or later on, thank you, one and all. Hit those like buttons. Subscribe to this channel. I'm going to keep giving you guys great reviews, great takes, fun streams. Subscribe to the channel. Help me grow so that I can keep doing this for your entertainment. Watch me melt down. Isn't it fun watching me lose my shit? I lose it all the time. Anyway, thank you one and all. I will see you guys next time. Until then, take it easy. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.